Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Thoughts on Education. Today with us we have thoughtful leader Dr. T.V. Prasad, who is the Director of Quality Assurance at GIET Institutions, Godavari Institute of Engineering Technologies, a reputed engineering as well as other pharmacy colleges grouped in Rajahmundry, AP. Good morning, sir. Welcome to this show.
Very good morning and very nice talking to you.
Sure, sir. Sir, let me introduce you first for the sake of our audience, sir. Hello everyone, this is Dr. T.V. Prasad, who has more than 22 years of experience in central government as well as academics. He has deep interest in planning and executing major IT projects as well as research in new areas of computing and bioinformatics. He is a graduate and has master's degree from Nagarjuna University, Andhra Pradesh. And after that, he has got his doctorate from doctorate, and he has worked as head and dean at Lingayas University. He is currently the Director of Quality Assurance at GIET Institutions. Apart from this, he has also done teaching as well as worked as a scientist at Bureau of Indian Standards or ISI. He is a trained auditor for implementation of Information Security Management System. He also possesses quality system certification experience. Apart from this, he is also lectured at various international national forums on subjects related to computing. He has supervised more than 6 research scholars in various areas of computing as well as supervised thesis submission. He has traveled to more than 9 nations in Europe and has on academics and official assignments. He is also a professional member of IEEE, ISTE, etc. groups. His research includes bioinformatics and artificial intelligence, and he has over 135 newspaper journals and conferences and has authored more than 3 books and 4 journals. Today, with us, we have an opportunity to interact with an able administrator, system planner, a designer, and great motivator. Thank you so much for coming into this show, sir. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself for the sake of our audience?
Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas, for giving such an introduction. It's really a privilege talking to you and to all the prospect students as well. So as he mentioned, my name is Professor T.V. Prasad, and I'm coming with a varied industrial government experience as well as administrative experience, and I worked in various places. So I had the also opportunity to travel various parts of the country as well as other nations. Then filed about 7 patents. As a dean of R&D, I had the opportunity to file about 30 or so copyrights. So I'm coming with a different type of perspective background. I was also taking some classes for IGNOU, so that distance education kind of experience is also there with me. So that's how about this. And I look forward that this discussion, this talk, is going to be a highly motivating factor for all your viewers.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, you have held various key positions at education institutes as well as corporates. Sir, we want to know what is the one key factor that keeps you connected with education sector?
It's a wonderful, great question and really suits to me. I am also coming from a very poor family background, but over the time, I attained a lot of experience and knowledge from various sectors. I'm thankful to my teachers who made me this personality. Build of our own. It is a society. And I have a great passion for the education sector because I see that element called giving. Everywhere you see, normally we take, but this is the sector where we give. I am crazy about building the next generation, and I like to see the knowledge transfer goes well from generation to generation. So some of the key principles that I have learned during my career are something like, we alone cannot prosper in life. We should be taking people around us to newer heights. Only then things will be possible. Similarly, life is not about earning. Most importantly, it is about sharing. It's not about just taking, but it's about giving. So this is the perspective which I believe the next generation should be, coming up with. That will be an important factor. Similarly, we all have certain responsibility towards ourselves, towards our family, and towards the nation, which we should never forget. So let us do things to attain expertise in the area in which we are working. It's not just touch and go. We need to attain expertise because the industry because the society, the nation loves expert people. They need expert people, not just jack of all trades. Yeah, that's about, yeah.
Sir, being the director of GIET, what is your philosophy of leadership? How would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah, I feel that the people who are going to sit at the top of the helm of the affairs must have some very, very good points with them, very good qualities with them. They have a long vision. They should have a clear mission. They must have a positive attitude towards life. And they must be having that helping or problem-solving kind of nature. A strong balance of mind is very important. Similarly, they must be soft-spoken nature. As we grow, as we educate ourselves more, we should be more soft-spoken. And above all these things, I try to see that the people sitting at the top must be self-motivated. This is the biggest subject anybody can learn in life. If a person is self-motivated, they can solve any kind of thing. Nothing in this life is a rocket science. And above all these things, there is one more factor. That is the blessings of the elders. You know, the kind of knowledge that we receive from elders is very important. And that is what helps us in grow in life.
Great, sir. Great philosophy, sir. Sir, the education systems in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. In your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institute?
Thank you. This is a marvelous question that you have asked. We are exactly going opposite to what the conventional system should go. If you look at the Western system, everything is built around academics. You know, research takes place in academics, and that is brought to the industry. Sometimes the professors, the students themselves set up industries. They go for patents. So there is a lot of value for IPR. But in India, unfortunately, it is the opposite way. We are more, student type driven. We are more towards, consuming. It's about consumerism. It's not about knowledge share development. Knowledge should be generated. We are not focusing on fees of and the government has got very strongly, and they are holding very strongly to it. But rather, I believe we should be focusing more on the learning outcomes, and whoever students go out with degrees, with diplomas, they must be capable of doing things. Okay. Similarly, we are still talking about Bloom's taxonomy. This is a simple example I give you. How to talk about higher level of thinking. These are being practiced in other countries, even at school levels also. And we are organizing faculty development programs in this concept and higher education. This is a big dilemma. Okay, so this is where we are quite back in terms of changes. So a lot of changes are coming. So I suggest some good methods, like some strategies, like there should be increased experiential learning for students. Like USA, they have only 2 periods of theory and 9 periods for lab. We have 3 periods or 4 periods for theory and have only 2 periods for lab. So likewise, implementing active learning techniques, then training the faculty members. You have to strengthen the teachers with better teaching learning methods, and then giving very good emphasis, stress on research-based activities for both faculty members as well as students. If you start putting foundation at this young age, they will become very good researchers in the coming time, maybe after 5, 7, 10 years. Similarly, we should be undertaking revisions in the curriculum from time to time. And not only just curriculum, they should be carefully monitored. They should be checked. There must be checkpoints, and they must be carefully monitored.
Right.
What we are trying to do at GIET, something different. We are also trying to give a lot of emphasis in imparting education in terms of language. For non-English speakers, we are trying to have bridge courses. Similarly, those who are coming from outside India or even within India also, those who have a poor mathematical background, we have some bridge courses. We are also imparting some knowledge about the Indian culture and civilization. So these things, when go really with this 4-year degree, engineering degree, it does marvels.
Right, sir. Sir, can you throw a little bit more light on the curriculum at GIET and how does it ensure the best practice in the industry?
Yes, so we have taken certain measures. It's not a single step, a set of steps. We have many faculty members who are drawn from various walks of life, like government. We have used from manufacturing sector, service sector. We are trying to have a very good diversity over here. So this is one thing. Then we also look into the national priorities and the industrial requirements. For example, now there is more talk of IoT, there is more talk of cyber security. So we have to be in touch with the latest technological trends. Then we have over 13 centers of excellence and specialized labs. Normally, you don't see this kind of many of the colleges and institutions, those techniques, those equipment. We are focusing on tie-up with the leading industries, and they also give a lot of good insight at the time of developing syllabus, industrial visits, internships. So they help us a lot in these things. In addition to these things, we also have some training programs and certifications internally. We have a very good full-fledged learning and development department. They literally take the students with them of all second, third, and fourth year students, and they groom them to make sure that they have the required capabilities developed.
Sure.
So we have some laboratories like Virtusa, Infosys. Okay, we have a cyber physical security lab, which is established in collaboration with the Ministry of Communications and IT. And we have an advanced robotics lab in collaboration with Aachen University, Germany. So ours is the first Virtusa Center of Excellence in the combined state of Andhra and Telangana.
Great, sir. That's nice to hear, sir. Any insights into how your institution can be more welcoming to students of different races as well as economic backgrounds, sir?
Our campus is witnessing a wonderful diversity. We have students coming from over a dozen states of India, as far as Tripura, Assam, Nagaland. We have students coming from Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Kerala, Punjab, Tamil Nadu. Okay, likewise, they are coming from various economic backgrounds. Some parents working as low as something like a auto driver, not financially so strong. We also have people coming from totally non-native English-speaking backgrounds. Now we have this major challenge, which we have to bring all these people together and take them in one direction. This is really a big challenging things. I don't think even IITs will be facing this kind of issues. And then campus, we have a beautiful campus, many acres spread across, and I can confidently say this is one of the biggest campuses in the state of Andhra. And in this campus, we have 6 institutions, and 3 of them are engineering colleges, a pharmacy college, a degree college, and we also have a polytechnic. And we have wonderful courses in addition to the running systems like computer science, electrical, mechanical, civil, etc. We have now the cyber security and artificial intelligence and machine learning. We also have petroleum engineering, mining engineering, and we also have automobile engineering. So we have a varied combination like this. We have almost 11 departments looking after these things. And then we also have wonderful student diversity. We also have students coming from a dozen countries. mostly from African nations. In addition to that, we also have from countries like Afghanistan, Nepal, Iran, etc. So you see wonderful campus over here, very conducive for learning in a higher education, and the students are served with food which to the best to their palate. We have a north mess and a southern mess. Additionally, even separately for the foreign students. Likewise, to make them comfortable and feel homely, very big six blocks we have for hostels, boys hostels, girls hostels. We also have international boys hostels separately to make them feel comfortable. And the students go very deep into their subject. They love learning, and we could see even foreign students. Like we have one example, a Afghani student, I think he got a gold medal. He topped the institute. So this is about the kind of campus. We also have faculty members coming from many states of the country. So that way, you don't see normally this kind of diversity in most of the places. So we are on the top.
Right, sir. I completely agree with you, sir. Sir, as per you, what should be the college's top priority for the next 10 years?
Yeah, this is a great thing because you're talking about the vision that we have. We already have the NAC A+ grade, and we achieved 3.37 points on a 4 scale. And we are already twice ranked through NIR of the Government of India. First time we were in 151 to 200 rank in that band. And then recently we were in the 251 to 300 band. And ours is already an autonomous institution and permanently affiliated to the JNTU Kakinada. So accreditation wise, I think we are quite comfortable. So that's what we should really celebrate about that. And then we are also happy with that the Government of India is pitching for the implementation of National Education Policy 2019. So we look forward that we will have a major role, vital role in the coming years in the southern states of India. And then we already have been here established for the last 21 years. And this is, I think, quite a good time to say that we qualify for being a deemed university. We should be moving towards a deemed to be university status in coming years.
Right, sir. I sincerely hope you get the deemed university status, sir. Sir, when you first came to GIET, what was your vision for the college and how has it evolved over time? And how far have you been successful in implementing that vision?
Very nice. Initially, now it's about 4 years that I have been at GIET group. Initially as a director of School of Computer Sciences. Then I had 2 elevations. I was principal of the GIET Autonomous, the biggest college over here. And then now currently as the director of the group of institutions. And in these 4 years, I could see phenomenal changes in the organization. I'll just tell you a few of them. We have a great increase in the branding within and outside Andhra Pradesh. This is a wonderful thing. Then we have a great increase in the students coming from other nations and other states of India. It's increasing. It's a rising trend. And then the number of student-centric services or the support services have phenomenally changed, enhanced in the hostel, food, etc., anything, sports, every sector, every area, there's no stone left untouched. Then there is an increase in the industry relationships. Then we have manifold enhanced our research activities. And there were a number of senior and qualified faculty members, again, coming from within Andhra and from outside Andhra. And this is the first institution, let me tell you, in the state of Andhra Pradesh to have achieved this NAC A+ grade, the most coveted grade.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for giving all the facts, sir. Sir, do you want to add any additional facts that people may not know about GIET?
We are located in Rajamandri. We also call it Rajamahendravaram. And this is a cultural center, city, capital of Andhra Pradesh. And it has a long cultural heritage. And GIET definitely shares it because because the name itself, here on the banks of River Godavari, and being a cultural center, so also the values and the culture system is inherited by our faculty members and students. So you don't see this kind of thing in metropolitan cities. So for real academic development, real personality development, most important is place like this. When you have good places, holistic places like this, then you see how wonderful things come up. And to make the students more comfortable and feel homely, we have our own, you'll be surprised to know, we have our own poultry farm, a dairy farm, we have our own fish ponds and agricultural farms. And directly these things come to our hostels, even our mess canteens, etc. So you don't get so funny when I say, even our people serve organic chicken. So that's about it. And then, like any other college institution, we also have wonderful features, facilities, like very good transportation. We have buses running to the adjoining districts, almost 100 kilometers from here. A huge library. We have multiple sports arenas. In hundreds of these acres, space is enormous. We have very good gymnasium, round-the-clock security, very powerful internet connectivity. We have, I think, running beyond 1 gigabyte per second speed. So these are some of the very good things that we are providing to the students. So to make their memories remarkable. Yes.
Right, sir. Sir, what do you see as the GIET's greatest strengths?
There are many things, but let me tell you, list few of them. We have the best faculty members, many of them drawn from institutions like IITs and NITs. We also have faculty members who have their postdoctoral from Italy or South Korea. So very strong faculty team we have here. Very good laboratories. So it's not about my talking. One should be able to visit over here and witness that themselves, to see the expanse of laboratories we have over here. And very strong placement records. When other institutions are struggling to get placements, good number of students are already placed here. And we normally believe in getting tier 1 and tier 2 level of companies, like Infosys, Accenture, Virtusa, some of the really good world leaders. Then we also have very good accreditations to support our cause. So the parents can be very comfortable. Their students will be in comfortable hands. And then the training and certifications. We emphasize a lot on imparting a large number of training programs relevant to the industry, so that the gap between industry and academia is narrowed down. They don't have to spend a lot of time after graduation, or in other words, they are directly ready for, industry ready.
Great, sir. Sir, what are some of the challenges that you see both for higher education in general and GIET specifically?
Very good question again. I see in general something like I tell about 4 items. The commercialization of higher education is not in the interest of the nation, but we are very fast moving towards it. Then the absence of environmental consciousness. Okay, students are earning degrees, they are going out, but I personally believe they must be more oriented towards environmental consciousness, more important to respect the nature. Then we are having a great challenge with the poor quality of intake. So I believe the roots are deep into schooling level, and it is not just a problem in Andhra Pradesh. Now it's a national problem. And then we also see that there is a lack of innovation and newness in the curriculum. So somewhere the elite people, the principals, vice principals, deans, directors, they must be sitting down, deliberating with HODs and other professors and come out with the best possible and the latest in the industry. But because of the terribly affiliated, highly affiliated system, I think even many colleges are not in a position to spread their wings. So a level playing field should be more encouraged. While this is in general concept, in guide we also have some problems. Like again, as I said, poor quality of intake. We could see that many of the students who are coming from the semi-urban settings or from rural background, they have difficulty with communication skills or English language skills. They understand it very nicely, but they can't reproduce it. They can't speak well or they can't write well. So there they get the beating. So this is one of the major challenges that we are facing. Then there is lack of interest in the students in the current generation to take up competitive exams. We love to see that these students are groomed to go for civil services, IAS, engineering services, IPS. There are 27 such allied services. But somehow students are not showing that keen interest. I remember last time our management has put in a lot of efforts to bring the best of AP and Telangana Training Institute to our campus. Okay, so, and we also like to see there are more inter or cross-disciplinary avenues of learning. It's not only isolated like civil or not only about mechanical or electrical. If we have interdisciplinary or cross-disciplinary approach, that will be wonderful.
Right, sir. Sir, any suggestions you would like to give to current youth and aspiring students, sir?
Yeah, based on my learning, my background, I have few suggestions to make. Foremost thing is that people don't study just for getting a job. The purpose of education is not just earning a degree. It is primarily building character and personality. Without personality, without character, there is no use of these degrees. What to do with it? So to become a good citizen of the nation, I strongly, very, very strongly stress upon these things, that education must also have this component called character and personality. Well, in olden days, they used to be like this when it was Gurukulas. Now the colleges must also turn themselves like Gurukulas. They must impart these kind of things. Though the UGC and other agencies, they talk about imparting values, but that's not enough. The character and personality is more important. Similarly, we must be able to appreciate nature, culture, civilization, language, religion, humanity. So these are the parameters which are highly essential, which have to be imparted to the student. Because in modern education, these things are almost missing. And ultimately, the education is to see that it's a happy learning. When the students come to the campus, they must learn it with happiness. Okay? Only then we can make a happy nation. I don't forget that thing. We have to be happy nation. So these are very important ingredients that they must be given to the students, the next generations.
Right, sir. That's a very insightful advice, sir. Sir, what are some of the plans that you are currently or will be designing for your students?
Yes, as I already said, because many of the students are coming from semi-urban and rural settings. So imparting them correct language concepts, communication skill concepts is very, very important thing for us. That's what we are focusing on. And if they do it, automatically you can see 15 to 20% increase in percentage. Okay. So I think this is a national problem now. We need to look into this seriously. And not only in our college, every college and institution must be thinking about it. Similarly, we have a semester-long community service-oriented project. We need to emphasize, go more deeper into it, where students learn, they acquire sufficient about the nature and service to the nearby communities. This is where the students will learn about giving. It's not just taking, but also giving, helping others. And then we try to see, we enhance the experiential learning, like having minor projects, having more number of experiments in laboratories, and having inter and cross-disciplinary approach. And then we need to have a more focused FDPs on teaching, learning, and research activities, focus for the faculty members. That will help them a lot. For the students also, it will be helpful. Good faculty members means good pillars of the institution. So that will help the students in turn. So make your faculty member more stronger, automatically students will be better. Then enhanced industrial relations, so that students go directly to the industries. They have that feel of what their problems are and how to solve them. They see firsthand learning. These are essential. So for this, we must have, all academic institutions must have very good linkages with the industry. It's the most inevitable part. This is what we look at it.
Sure, sir. It has been a very insightful and engaging conversation, sir. We have learned a lot about higher education and your thoughts about higher education and GIET specifically. Thank you so much for your valuable time, sir.
Thank you so much. I enjoy talking to you, and I wish good luck to everybody. Thank you.